Before we get to the episode, exciting news. I have a new podcast, a second podcast. I am the host and producer of the Strandcast, the official podcast for Strand Bookstore in New York City at 12th and Broadway, the coolest independent bookstore. And now there's a podcast every other week featuring long-form conversations with authors from different genres. The Strandcast is available on iTunes and Stitcher. Just search for The Strandcast. Links will be in the show notes, of course, and make sure you subscribe so you never miss an episode. And now for the show. Hello there, and welcome to another episode of Talk Music Talk with Boice. I am Boice, and this is my podcast you are checking out. Talk Music Talk is a weekly music interview podcast where I have long-form conversations with people connected to music from different genres and different backgrounds, both established and emerging. Singers, singer-songwriters, musicians, music therapists, music journalists, all different genres. And on this new episode, I had the pleasure of speaking to Reese Higgins. He is the label head of Gentle Reminder Records based in Brooklyn. I had previously interviewed two of his artists, James Tillman and Will Maloney. This was back before I even knew who Reese was, had met him. Link in the show notes for those two conversations. I initially met Reese at the Other Music Festival, which was at MoMA PS1 back in March in Queens. That is run by Josh Maydell, former owner of Other Music in New York City, that great record store. Link in the show notes for his conversation. Reese Higgins is from the DC, Maryland area, and this is one of those interviews where there was little to no information online about Reese, so this was a point of discovery for me, which I love those kind of conversations. We bond over our love for Red Hot Chili Peppers. We bond over our love of being college DJs on college radio. We also talk about how he started the Gentle Reminder label and how things are going and future plans. After the conversation, you will hear a 7-song playlist handpicked by Reese himself. After the conversation, that's what you'll hear, and I will tell you what you heard on the other side. Here it is, without further ado, my conversation with Reese Higgins. Enjoy.
Yeah, thank you so much for coming over
Sure.
here. Excited. Yeah, you're like really one of the, I mean, honestly, maybe really one of the only like New York podcasts that I listen to or aware of, and certainly when I first moved here, so this is exciting. It was like, obviously, I recognized you at the record fair. I was like, oh my gosh. Celebrity in our midst.
It was weird being recognized.
Oh, well.
But nice.
Yeah, dude, it doesn't happen.
A couple times.
Sometimes.
Yeah, it's happened. Right. Or people are like, I recognized you from your logo thing.
Yeah.
I'm like, really? You can, that little picture does all that? So,
cool.
You know, online, I there's nothing. It's like, are you a spy or something? There's like no information of you online, dude.
Oh, me?
Yes, you.
Oh.
So like I got to find it all out like today.
Yeah. Oh, it's pretty. Yeah, I mean, this is like doing this kind of thing is pretty revealing. Yeah, I don't really open up. Like this, but I'm ready to. Is this the conversation?
Yeah, we're into it.
We're recording.
Yeah, we're in.
Okay,
we're in.
Yeah. No, so, I'm pretty. Yeah, I don't really put myself out there personally, but you gotta put something out there for the label if you're trying to, you know, introduce people to new stuff or move some units or what have you. Yes. So. Yeah, but generally I try to keep myself out of it, but because it's not about me. But sometimes I think it would be fun. You see all these folks having, or it looks like they're having fun. And of course it feels good to, you know, attention, positive attention feels good. But anyway. Yeah.
So I guess our connection, would be James Tillman, the first connection.
Absolutely. Yes.
I interviewed him, 2 years now? Maybe?
Yeah.
How did you connect with him to release his stuff? How did that go about?
So James I met because he was an intern at a record label I worked at, so we worked together and just became friends that way and got to, know each other and found out about his music, and I became a fan, and he had been working on the Silk Noise Reflex album for quite a while, and I was trying to help him with that and the rest of his pursuits in music.
Yeah.
And eventually I was just like, let's, he's just going to put the album out digitally and stuff, but I'm like, let's put out a tape or something. So yeah, that happened, and so happy it did, because that's a very, like, a really big part of the beginning of the label. So very grateful to James for that, and he has some new stuff he's been working on for a while.
Yeah, I've been seeing it online.
Really excited to hear the finished material.
Have you heard rough stuff so far?
Yeah, sounds really, really good, of course. Yeah, he's a talent, and I hope he's able to keep doing music, and people are receptive to it. Yeah.
When did you you were doing what at the label? He was an intern. When was this? In Philly? Was that Philly?
It was in outside of Washington, D.C.
Okay, D.C.
In Maryland.
He's in Philly now, right? Is he in Philly now?
James, I think he's here in New York.
Oh, he moved back to New York?
I don't know I don't remember a Philly period, but also I
didn't listen back to the interview, so I totally could be wrong.
Yeah, I believe he's still here. But, he's a mysterious guy.
I'm putting out false facts.
Oh no, but we're both from like Maryland, DC area, so yeah, that's where we met.
Okay, what were you doing at the label?
I was the production manager at this label, Car Park Records.
Okay,
and that was a really great job, and just it was such a thrill to be involved in music that way, and learned a lot from my coworkers and all the artists on that label. Yeah.
How long had you been at Car Park?
Just a few years. Was an intern there, like in 2012, and then started working there like a couple years later, and then was there for just a few years before I moved to New York. Okay.
Was that your route, or you always wanted a career in music?
Well, career, I don't know.
Too heavy a word?
I suppose in some sense, but also that does feel like a weird thing to say, certainly about like the music life, because it's such the things I've been able to do in it are really, I don't know, it's a very, I haven't figured it out, I've been able to do a lot of interesting things in music professionally, and I'm so happy about that. But yeah, it's just one of my humongous passions, so just getting to be around it as much as possible, and hopefully helping people by sharing music and promoting it and stuff is the goal, I think. Just putting some positive stuff out there.
Had you always wanted to do your own label thing?
I suppose. I had thought about it a long time, but it just, I wasn't sure, and I have so many doubts about like, what do I have to bring to this, or why should I say anything? Who cares? Not sure how I got over that, at least to start it, but I think it's because I was able to work with people I really cared about, like my friends Peter, Curved Light, and James, and then El Perro Del Mar, and having those were like our first 3 real releases, and having those people want to do something together and believe in me really meant a lot, because I just look up to them so much, and I really am moved by their work and know that other people are too, so I knew it was going to be a good thing to do. So I really got to give a lot of credit to my friends for helping me through that. Had
you been talking about it forever, and people were just like Reese, just do it, please.
No, because I don't really talk about that kind of thing. Maybe to like one or two like really close people. And Peter, I think I probably said like, oh, we should do something together, probably because Peter's been pretty active in like music scenes around the world and in our home communities of like DC and Baltimore. So he'd been putting out a bunch of stuff and playing in bands, and he certainly has enough material to have like a new label every release, and he's kind of done that sort of with some of the Curved Light stuff. So and Peter is also like one of my first friends that I bonded over with music when I was a teenager. So just that connection was really really, I guess, helpful in believing in myself or ourselves, something like that.
Okay. So what he did is like assist you in putting everything together?
Well, he, made the music and the art and let me put it out on tape and digital. So, I mean, it's all of these releases and stuff are the artists, I can't really... I mean, I'm barely... I mean, I'm trying to do what I can to get the word out there, I guess, sure, I'm, like, helping to make physical things and get it distributed, but really it's, you got to give all the credit to the artists for doing it. So he deserves all the credit for that.
So what did you have to get over to start it?
I guess just having something good or important to share, like the music of Curved Light or James Tillman or El Perro del Mar or any of the folks we've been able to work with since. So really that was it, because it's like, well, I love music and I try to play music. I'm not very disciplined or good at it. Yeah. So I couldn't really... What would I put out? It wouldn't be very, or at least that's how I feel like it wouldn't be that good. So, to believe, I guess, in other people's stuff, I knew that this was good and that people would benefit from hearing it. So,
are you coming at it from like a fan type thing? Like, I think like when I interview people, I'm like, okay, I love this. You're going to love it too.
Well, of course.
That's where I'm coming at it from.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I'm just so dang excited about all this stuff. I just want, it's just so great when you hear, I mean, music is just so special, and all art, that moves you is just like, you just want to, if you feel good or feel something that changes your life in some way, your day, your moment, I just want to share that with people.
Tell the world.
It's like, this has made this moment or this year better, or whatever. Like, maybe it could do the same for you. So that's the idea.
Okay. What is your music background?
In terms of
playing? Loving, first instrument?
Yeah, well, I somehow, my family took me to like keyboard lessons as a little kid for a very brief period. It didn't take, and I don't know why. It was, I mean, I was also very afraid of authority figures, and still am, I suppose. And so I didn't really express a love for music or really knew that I had it in me until I was like 14 or something. Just because I had, a lot of shame and just fear of being judged for like, what if I like the wrong thing or something? And I just didn't want to, it was just scary to talk to people or express my feelings. So I guess I'm doing better since then. But so the keyboard didn't take, still have that same keyboard. And then I was in like the middle school band or a class. Like I started playing flute, rented a flute and then moved to clarinet, and I'm not sure what I accomplished there. I really was not.
Did you choose flute and clarinet?
I guess. Okay. Well, flute, I guess I chose flute, but then, like, I was kind of an outsider in the flute section. I don't know if I feel like the teacher and everyone else kind of pressured me to move to clarinet, which was more like there was more people doing clarinet, and I would just be able to kind of blend in better, I think. So I feel, there was pressure to move. I don't know why, what the reasoning was for either instrument. Definitely didn't take to those either. I think it was the same thing with not really knowing what I liked and not really digging whatever the class was learning. And just not having the discipline to study music then. Even now, I'm always just like, I don't know, I'm always like, there's so many projects to do, and I'm always moving on to the next thing. And then tried guitar, and that was a little bit easier for me to, learn how to do a couple things.
It was self-taught?
Well, there was a class also in high school, and like classical guitar, like with nylon strings, and so studied, I guess, and that, I don't know, also I guess I liked music then, or was public about liking music. And so, and we're learning, just like blues chords and also like Beatles songs and Sloop John B. and stuff like that. So I think that was maybe easier for me to connect to than whatever.
Classical stuff, or?
I guess, I don't know. But then I would, then you'd learn like some Beethoven stuff too, because you're playing classical guitar, and it's beautiful music. Yeah, I don't know, just an undisciplined kid. I'm not sure.
Yeah. Did you said you kept your music taste hidden? Were you not listening? Was there a point where you were not listening to music at all, and then you started, and you just weren't telling people what you were listening to because you didn't want to be judged by it?
Sort of. Just, my dad was a DJ, and, music was really important to him, and it was, music was often in the car, in the house and stuff, and our whole basement was just like, my dad's records and CDs for DJing, and he was like a party DJ, like would do like weddings or graduations or reunions, that kind of thing. So it was a lot of like popular stuff, but he really also really loved personally like East Coast beach music, like shag music and Motown and things like that, and soul music, I guess, from like the mid-late 20th century. So those are really big influences on me. But yeah, we also had like basically a Jimmy Buffett billboard in my house growing up, and
did that take?
No, but I don't have any issues with Jimmy his music or anything. It's that's a long road to get down the Buffett road, but music was always around, but I don't know what flipped it really. I just remember like being in my room, and I had like like the clock radio to like wake me up in the mornings, and I would listen to the radio, and I would be really low because I was scared. Like I was really scared if somebody found me listening to the radio. Getting really lost in these memories. I haven't really had to think about this in a while. I feel like I'm gonna like fall into some weird nightmare dream or something. But anyway, like 14, then I got into music and just like met people, like honestly Peter, because he was like into music and was in the band and stuff, and in school, and I really like I thought this guy was so cool and like really just wanted to, figure out what he was up to and stuff like that. So he was a big influence.
Okay, so you liked what he liked?
Sort of, a bit of that, and then we would start to, influence each other. But he got me like into Pearl Jam and stuff when I was a kid, and people would start to. Then I would be meeting people, and our friend Amir. He was a really like encyclopedia of music and had so much music, and he like would give me like a spindle of CDRs that were burned, and then AOL Instant Messenger, was popular at this time, and it was really easy to do like peer-to-peer file sharing then, which of course, please support your artist. But at the time,
this is history we're talking about here.
But also, good Lord, my CD collection is huge. I also became like addicted to eBay and would like buy so many CDs, and I would be going to big box stores and record stores, like buying CDs every week. But anyway, through like the AIM, like I would got like the Pearl Jam discography and Nirvana and Andrew Bird so like the grunge stuff was like the first stuff, which I was a bit late for. But that was like what really I got into as a young person.
Yeah. Was there an artist who like it really felt like this is my artist?
Oh my gosh, yeah, the Red Hot Chili Peppers.
I like the Chili Peppers.
I loved them as a teenager. I was just like, they just moved me so much, and I have to say nowadays I'm not really a fan. I mean, I still like. I guess they have really nice music and melodies, but Anthony Key just like now his lyrics kind of distract me from the music, so I'm not. I wouldn't. Say you should go listen to this now, but like it really was like that was like the band that kind of like, because also I remember like my dad and like my uncle had their greatest hits CD, so I knew it was okay. I feel like to like this music, or like I could slowly like put my foot forward and be like, yeah, I like this too. Can I borrow that CD? Okay. So then I would, then of course, like I had every single one of their CDs from the, is it the first one self-titled, the one with the eyeball guy on the cover?
I can't remember that one.
And then, Freaky Style and Uplift
Mother's
Mofo
Milk
Party.
Okay,
yeah.
Mother's Milk. You have a favorite?
By the Way.
See, those were. By the Way, Californication, and what else is there? What else is after Californication?
After Californication, Stadium Arcadium. Was
okay, so go back. So the one before By the Way,
Red Hot Minute. Oh, before. So it goes Blood, Sugar, Sex, Magic in '92, then One Hot Minute, then Californication, then By the Way, then Stadium Arcadium, and then I don't know what they've been up to.
If you start with By the Way,
Blood, Sugar, Sex,
Magic. Skip One Hot Minute.
Yeah.
And another two, then that's my trilogy. My Chili
those are the three. Those are great. I mean, it's hard not, sometimes on like a long drive, maybe we'll put those on, and they're still, fun to listen to, but it is weird. I love them so much, so much as a kid, so I really gotta, say thanks to those guys for putting me on the music path, or at least helping me. Who knows who else it could have been, but that's
dude, the melodies, those hooks, and the harmonies,
they're really
I don't think people talk about that enough.
They're really and I think John Frusciante is like such the melodies are so good, and some of that stuff even on Californication is like, so it's really simple and beautiful, even though he's also can be such like a crazy guitar player. But anyway, that's the truth. The Red Hot Chili Peppers.
Cool, dude. So you're in high school. What are your post high school plans? Do you know?
No, because I mean, you're a kid. Like I feel like we need to. This is me running for office. We need to change this whole scenario where like you are supposed to decide, or like all this pressure is like you have to decide what you're going to do with your life when you're 17 or 18. That's absurd, you know. I mean, at least now maybe because now we were generally. I mean, I'm generalizing stuff, so please don't look to me for expert or concrete advice. But, you know, I mean, I guess maybe you had to grow up a little faster way back when, and your lifespan was likely to be shorter. But anyway, that's a lot of pressure to say you're going to be on this career path or whatever. So I didn't know. I worked at the high school newspaper, and that was a big influence. And I loved the newspaper. And that was a big part of every day of my life, you know.
The editing part, writing, like what did you like about it? What did you do there?
Did it all. But just, I loved reading the thing. And then, working on the school newspaper, would write any whatever I was assigned or would assign myself, and then like created like, you know, like a kind of like an absurdist comedy section, which I have thinking about it now, I have no idea why they would allow me, who is not, I don't think had any kind of popularity at all, to like have an entire page dedicated to really silly stuff, really bizarre, absurd stuff. But a couple people jumped on board and contributed to that. But yeah, that whole experience I like, and layout and design and all that was that was fun. And you were making something. You know, this was something I could make. I couldn't make music, which by at that point in my late teens, I was just like, I was so hooked, and just it was everything, and it still is. So then I went to more school after high school and studied. What school? Went to University of Maryland in College Park, which also is like, you know, this. I mean, I'm so happy I don't ever really have to think about those younger years now, because anyway.
You got enough distance between you?
Yeah, I'm happy it's over, you know? So glad to grow older and all that. But anyway, they're saying find out where you would like to spend all your money and go. Like, I don't know. There's like the world is huge. The United States is huge. Even Maryland is huge to me. And so whatever happened, I ended up at University of Maryland, which ended up being good. I not in the beginning, but there I also worked on the newspaper. But what really had an impact on my life, and again thinking about this now, like all these things like were turning points in my life, but now it's like what I'm about to say is what had an impact was working at the radio station, the college radio station, and I'm sure a lot of folks who've done that would say similarly how influential it was.
Same here, dude. 4 years college radio. Yeah. It's a lot of fun. But I like even just outside of school, like I was still like kind of involved, or like listening to friend shows or helping them out or going to concerts there or whatever. But now, of course, it's like it's not a part of my life. You know, that was important then, but it's nice that it's. You know, it doesn't cross my mind, like it doesn't affect me now, which I'm happy about. What doesn't affect you?
Like,
school? Or
or like period? College radio, like it doesn't have any like bearing on my life, which I think is healthy. But at the time, it was my entire life, you know what I mean? So that was really big, because then I was creating this show, not just the newspaper, which was, you know, there's editors, and I was a editor or an editor, but you know, it's pretty rigid. Like if you're going into like an institution like that, what is this newspaper, et cetera, et cetera. So having your own radio show at a free-form station, WMUC, 88.1 FM.
WPTS here.
Yeah.
I don't remember the numbers. Oh, that's horrible.
It'll come to you.
Yeah, it'll come. University of Pittsburgh.
UP.
So did you have a freeform show or did you have a specialty show?
It was freeform. The whole station was freeform, which was so cool. And we were on the FM dial. It was, I mean, wow, that's, giving the keys to the car to the kid. And then I started, like, being one of the live music directors there, and, like, holy heck, I could, like, book artists I like to come, and they would come to our little station and play a show or record a live set, and that, I mean, wow, that's really what set me off, I think, to where I am today, because that was so exciting. You had to, like, because then, like, you had the show, you could see the show, you made the show, the event, you made the event, and then you see people come to you, and you see how it affects people's lives. And, of course, seeing this music or art come to you, and, like, it was incredible. And then to meet these people that I just, admire and just have made this, like, really big impact on my life. That was incredible. And, of course, the station, met many friends there, and also the artists that are brought in over the years, got to become friendly with folks like that who I'm still friends with today, and actually gonna release music by one of these people 10 years later. And just did you do that kind of thing?
And I knew I wanted to be on the radio station before when I was in high school. So that was my first thing. I went to the summer program, sort of like a bridge program between high school and college. So it was like the first day I went up to the radio station, fourth floor, student union, and I was like so scared, right? Yes, from the small town.
Know exactly what you're talking about.
And I went up to there's a guy behind the counter, and I go, I'm a freshman. I'm going to be a freshman, and I want to be on the radio station. What do I need to do? He's like, well, you're in luck. Nobody's here during the summer. I'll train you.
Oh my gosh.
So I trained all summer, and then like I was a freshman with my own show like the first semester. It was an overnight show, which was like crazy. I would do an overnight show and then go to like a 9 o'clock class in the morning.
That's so awesome.
But I always wanted to do it. It was amazing. I had a freeform show, and I had some specialty shows, but that was like the best experience of my life.
Did
college.
You? And now, I mean, look at you now.
I know, Isn't it weird?
You're still rocking it.
Like we don't know, like we're doing that thing because we love it, but we don't know that it's going to serve some kind of purpose.
Yeah, well, I can totally relate to your same story. Like I remember going to Maryland before the school semester started. And the radio station and the newspaper are across the hall from each other, like
same
just feet
thing,
away. So I went over to the radio station. I was like, "Hey, I'm interested." And I think Daniel Burdack was there, this DJ, and he pointed me in the right direction. And then, I was back for orientation. It was. I'm sorry, I was maybe sounded harsh earlier. I'm glad I don't have to think about that because I don't want to think about the past. But thinking about it, really, I'm like all those people I met then and everyone I met every year, like it's like emotional. Those people were such a important influence in my life, and I'm so grateful. Like really, that's like the bedrock of my life as it is now. All those people I met then, like I cannot understate or overstate the importance of WMUC and the community there. Like huge.
I would say the same thing too. Because you have all these people who were all like music nerds, love music and passionate about it, and we're all together. We went to CMJ. We did like a trip to CMJ. We were crammed into a car. And
that's awesome.
It was just like an amazing experience. I would hang up there even when I didn't have a shift.
Of course. You would go because that was because at least for me, I was like, very lonely then, and the university's big. So, but I remember sometimes, you could just go there, and maybe people would be there, maybe not. At least somebody would be doing a show, and you could just, if nobody was there, at least you're surrounded by like, you know, CDs and records and stuff. And yeah, I mean, it's like, it's kind of, it's really special.
Yeah. What was your first show like?
My first show was this thing called A Young Person's Guide to Corruption.
Okay.
I don't know if there are any fans out there, but it was honestly, it was pretty awesome. If I'm going to be
your first show went well?
Fun. Yeah.
Oh, that's good. I mean, not for me. But.
I don't know how good I was, but I had a partner. So it was, me and a co-host, Vaman Upala, who was a really close friend at the time, and we did this show that was like a mix of music and talk and just absurd stuff, and we would just, it was basically like a comedy show. And I don't know, I mean, I just also, you can tell I'm just trying to surround myself with people that I really look up to, because at the time I really just thought this guy was like the most brilliant guy, and he was so funny, and just getting to be in his presence was such a thrill. So I would be like the straight person, and then he would be kind of the wacky, like, you know, wild host. But we would like call, we would have odd phone calls, just like we would interview, like the sex columnist at the newspaper, or like call a nudist colony in the middle of the night, and like the evil street preacher that would come to campus. We would like interrogate them. We interviewed Lily Tomlin, and all these like just really fun things, and just it was so good. And also this was 2008 when we started, so it was like a really, I mean, I guess it's always kind of a weird time, like, but I won't, anyway, the like election was, the presidential election was very weird, but I guess now it looks so minuscule in comparison to what's happening.
We were on the easy street then.
But anyway, that was a fun show, and then after that, I would just do more straight music shows, but still do lots of interviews, and eventually, I wish I could have expanded on this more, but then eventually we brought in the local legend Chris Pallardy to do like spiritual weather reports, and just I guess a real dream would have been to have like an absurd Mr. Rogers, like with like all these characters from the community talking, and then playing great music in between. But why wasn't your show a success?
I had let's see, I was there alone at night, because it was an overnight show, and even though I trained all summer, it's like one of those things once you actually doing it. So there was things like I didn't realize that if you have a record queued up, you only have like however long the radio is to actually find the next record. Right. So there was a lot of dead air between records. Okay. Well, that's I had the phone. I did my on air, right, and then someone calls and they're like, "Hey, you left your mic on," so. You could hear whatever I was doing. Yeah, it was horrible.
Well, you learned though. Right?
Yes.
I remember when I had a distinct memory of being on the air as like saying like, "Oh, I know nobody's listening now." Yeah. And then somebody called me and was like, "You should never say that. Like, I'm listening right now." Like some adult in the community, and I was like, I was very shaken. I was so I'm so sorry. Like, I mean, that was cool that somebody was listening, but it was also, I was being scolded, which was scary. But, and you get weird calls too. Did you ever get like weird?
Yeah, people get weird
calls. But then it also taught me, I don't really do it, but it's so much fun to like call a college radio station and talk to the DJ or whoever, like about what they're playing and stuff. And it's like, it's a great resource, like those stations, and I think they're really important. And I know WMUC at Maryland might be in trouble, so I hope they are able to stick around.
Yeah. But it's a great world to be in.
Big influence on me.
Yeah.
That's wild to think. I don't ever think about that stuff. But we had shows at all, like pretty much all times. I remember the main show was like maybe at not like 8 a.m. or something. My first one. Yeah.
How far out from you graduate are you from starting Gentle Reminder? Was that your first try to label?
I guess so, yeah. Quite a while, like 4 years, I guess. Like 3.5, 4 years after I graduated until I started.
Because you're biding your time at Car Park? Is it?
Yeah, well, I did a lot of different jobs after I graduated, including Car Park and some jobs at the same time. Like when I first started Car Park as an employee, like I was working at this folk festival production company. I was doing sound engineering at a club in DC. I was freelance journalist for a couple different papers. I think there was one or two other things, odd jobs that I was like filling my time with. I was just like, just trying to be really busy. And then I was spending a lot of time in Baltimore and like commuting back and forth to the DC area. And Gentle Reminder, I guess it just didn't start. I think more like we were talking about earlier about like not knowing what it should be or how it could be. So
how did you get to just, I'm going to start it anyway, but I don't know exactly what it's going to be? Like you didn't sit around and wait to figure that out before starting.
Yeah, well, like I was saying, I think it really was just being like, okay, Peter said he would do something together. Great, yes, we're going to do it. And then like really quickly or soon after that, I met El Perro Del Mar, and we agreed to do a tape together. And so it was like, holy heck.
Yeah.
This is already like a powerhouse label, if I can say so.
Yeah,
and,
yes, you may.
and James on board. So that's that's the first year, and like a couple like silly projects that are obscure. So it was really just having like those great albums, like knowing that they would be a part of it. So then that's just such a great springboard into doing more stuff. And then the people that I liked and people that I knew were making music. And then just like that when I'm like, oh yeah, I'm doing this thing now, my music friends then would come to me and say, oh, we should do this thing together. And then so it just snowballs.
Do you see Gentle Reminder having an aesthetic, or is it just merely representing your tastes and likes?
I wish I had the skill to give it an aesthetic, because like
I don't need one.
Right. I mean, because it is like, again, it's not really. I love these labels that have this image and identity. Like my, big references for me are Discord, Teen Beat, K, Sincerely Yours, Service. Those are like, and like Factory, of course. These like those labels are really like the ideals for me, the rock stars. But Slumberland, just like they have cool logos and they have cool websites or like, and I don't have the time or resources to figure out how to achieve that, really. I mean, honestly, I don't. Folks who think I can do it, maybe someday, but not right now.
Yeah.
So, and the music, the releases are it's a very wide variety of stuff. So, there's really no scene, and like we've done stuff from all over the world, and you'll see that like Maryland, DC, my roots there are definitely represented. And it's definitely a big community of like these different friend groups I have, so that's really special. But if you didn't know us, you would look at the label and I think it would look kind of random.
Yeah.
Which is fine because it's exciting that we get to share so many different kinds of things. Yeah.
Is it about maybe you create a trust? So people, they hear one thing from your label, they trust you and know they can try other artists on your label.
I certainly hope so. I'm not sure that I have that kind of weight. But I mean, you do see it in like people who order one thing and then I'll mail them their cassette or their LP and whatnot. And, you know, I write to everyone that orders a physical item. So we'll start a conversation maybe. And then sometimes those folks will order different stuff in the future, or something that I, you know, am excited about or recommended. I'm excited about it all, but like whatever's coming out then. And that's really nice to see. And I hope you know, we're about to put out a new Romantic States record, and that was the first LP we made back in May 2017, and there was a lot of great support for that, and I hope some of the people that bought that record will buy this new one, and it would be nice to like see those names again, you know. But yeah, I don't know. It's I hope people I hope people like it and trust it. I don't want to give my I don't think we're like big enough to really do that yet. I think it's like you like this artist, so that's how you came to it. But if people are finding the label, that would be really rad. That would be really special. But yeah, it's about, you know, the artist. So
is there something like when you hear an artist like, oh yeah, I would like them on Gentle Reminder that they may share, they have in common?
I don't think so, because there's really no other than
you liking them.
I think like making a positive impact with their art. I don't think there's really a common thread. I mean, we've done like a few artists from sort of similar, I guess, scenes in like the Swedish pop scene. But other than that, everybody's kind of in their own scene, I feel like. Maybe Repo Fam and Saturday Night are, I think, I don't think they play together, but they come from a similar local scene and things like that. Okay. But anyway, I mean, there's all these little connections, you know, Curve Light and Romantic States, Baltimore and Calgrove, and these bands would play together. But they're all individual in a way.
Okay. And what would you like to see for Gentle Reminder's future? Any planning on that?
Yeah, well, we have 3 records right now. Well, 4, 5. There's always like a few that I'm so sorry, like that I've been needing to put out, but it's just I'm a bit overwhelmed by myself, so I've not been doing the best job I could.
That's understandable too.
But what would be good? I mean, if the bands and the artists, if they could share their music, and if they could make, if they could see any, like, you know, money is not, you know, money is evil and all this, but it would be great if I could support them in some way, with capital or whatever, so they could continue to make art and be less worried about other things. So that would be the goal, I think, to see the artists have their music received and be heard enough that folks are, you know, having their lives improved, and that the artists are able to make more because of that, and like that kind of cycle. You know?
Okay, cool. I would like that. I would like to see that.
I would love that. Yeah.
You know what I think is miraculous? I'm going to point out is that there was this through line of you always having music to where you are now. Like it's not dumb luck. that you are
right.
here.
I mean, I definitely worked on it. You know, I've always pursued it because I love it so much. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so it's not. Yeah, it's no accident that what's happening is happening.
Yeah. There's a courage in that which I applaud you for.
Oh, that's kind of you. Thank you. Yeah, I mean, I'm fortunate. It's been working out this way so far. You know.
Yeah. Well, congratulations. Did I leave anything out, Reese? This was wonderful.
No, we've really got deep into the personal history there.
Now
Thank you for having me, boys.
Sure. Now there's information online about you.
Oh, Lord. Yeah.
What have we started?
Well, please support the artists and check out the records.
Yeah. Best place online to
really Bandcamp. You know, gotta give a big shout out to Bandcamp, gentlereminder.bandcamp.com, or the Louis Corral produced website, gentlereminderrecords.com, and we've got the Gen Rem Rex handle across a few social media platforms. But yeah, go on to Bandcamp. There's all so much good music.
Link in the show notes.
Yeah, thanks, boys.
Thank you, Reese.
Just
You just heard a set of music from the Gentle Reminder label. I hope you enjoyed the music. I hope you enjoyed the conversation with Reese. GentleReminderRecords.com. And let me tell you what you just heard. Kicking it off, Chattanooga Crew by the Honey Drips, Baron Idol from Romantic States, 1928 by Repo Fam, Push Pull from Saturday Night, Kathleen from Fashion Brigade, Nonstop Perfect Moves from Soccer Cousins, and wrapping it up, Nowhere from the Embassy. I will put credits to the songs in the show notes. The label, Gentle Reminder Records. The label, Gentle Reminder Records, just so you don't forget. And GentleReminderRecords.com is the website. I am online several places, TalkMusicTalk.com for more podcast information and to stream every single episode. I am also on social media on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook at This Is Boice. And I have some special requests for you. Please subscribe to the podcast on iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play, iHeartRadio, and many other places. Just search for Talk Music Talk with Boice. And while you are there, please leave a 5-star rating and a review to help spread the word about the podcast. There is also a free app. Download the app wherever you like to get your apps. Again, search for Talk Music Talk with Boice. And don't forget my other podcast, The Strandcast, the official podcast of Strand Bookstore here in New York City at 12th and Broadway. Link in the show notes. Thank you so much for listening. Until next time, and there will be a next time, this one's for you, Liz.